Hello, friends. Welcome back. Out and about. Do apologize for the audio quality, but I caught some big news and I'd like to report it before, it gets twisted and distorted. Basically, we have a little bit of leaked information coming from Nate the Hate. He is the person that reported and leaked the Oblivion remaster, and that did come to fruition. So there's a little bit of consistency with his leaked information, but we have two tweets to discuss, and I will go ahead and read the first one, and then the second one we'll do a little bit of a commentary on it afterwards. So the first tweet reads, "Hi Nate, anything new about Starfield PS5 port? Thanks." Nate the Hate, still happening, but release may have slipped a touch later than originally planned. Will update when I can. So I did take this screen capture a couple days ago, but this does imply that there is a little bit of a delay going on with the PlayStation port of Starfield. So let's move into the second tweet. Now, this was a tweet directed at me after I asked him to confirm a few things. So I had sent to me a forum post by, I guess, an alter ego of him on a gaming forum, Nate Drake. It read, "Another DLC expansion is still to come, though it doesn't seem like it'll make 2025 at this point." So I reached out to him and basically just asked him to confirm this. He very recently did confirm this was in fact him. So it looks as though that Starfield is going to be, or the DLC is going to be delayed potentially into like early 2026. But he seems rather uncertain about the exact time frame. But it looks like that there is something going on that is delaying this. And then we're going to go ahead and get into a little bit of commentary on this. So, what exactly does this mean with this delay that's going on? Um, Likely, I think either one, the PlayStation port was delayed due to some factor, or two, something caused the Starfield production to that DLC to be delayed in production. We're going to discuss what potentially could be causes of this, but I think there's a lot of incentive to keep these two items for Bethesda to be bundled together. So I don't think that there's necessarily something happening to each of these things, and they're actually both delayed. So I think it's more of a case of one of these events is delayed, and they're delaying the other to make sure that they have the appropriate hype when they do release and launch. That's kind of like my commentary on it. Is this Bethesda is going to be incentivized to bundle these two items together, a PlayStation port and a new DLC drop, to kind of like maximize hype. At the end of the day, they're a business and they want the most sales possible. But so let's look in particular at the PlayStation port delay. What potentially could cause this? I know there's a tiny bit of development with porting from one console to the other. I'm not entirely familiar with this process, but I am not imagining that to be the cause. Now, I could see a potential cause in delay over creations, and mainly it's due to the policy around what content or creations is allowed on PlayStation. They're very restrictive at this point in time because they do have Skyrim creations on PlayStation, but they're not allowed to have assets from like outside the game. So there could be potentially like negotiations going on around that, and that's my hope. At the end of the day, is that's what's causing the delay, is that they are renegotiating creations to incorporate a little bit, assets from outside the game. Um, this, really handicaps creations that they're not allowed to like bring assets from like outside the game and make a like something like a story mod. It becomes rather uncreative if they have to rely on basically just in-game assets to do these things. But beyond that, there's also the money factor involved with creations as well. I'm not sure if you guys are aware of like how this functions, but it's not just Bethesda in the modder with their hands in the cookie jar. Currently, right now, the people basically taking a cut of creations. That's going to be the modder, of course, Bethesda, of course, but Xbox is also going to take a cut. The Microsoft Store itself will take a cut, and then you have vendors like Visa and Mastercard that are going to be taking a cut of
I
this.
know. I
But
make a habit of standing
the
still for
whole middle group
minutes,
of
not complaining.
Xbox and the Microsoft Store is out of the equation, and now that part of the equation's in PlayStation's ballpark, and it's basically how do they want to handle um, the sale of creations, like what portion of a cut does PlayStation get at the same day? Is it the same portion of the cut that Microsoft and Xbox was getting, or are they trying to get a little bit more, or are they able to negotiate for a little bit less? So those kind of things do make me think that there's probably a negotiation going on right now amongst creations and how that's going to be handled in the future. Because I think in my last video, I kind of spelled it out that creations are operating very successfully, and money talks and it changes minds. So I think that's very strong likelihood, but we're going to kind of examine the game side of things. As far as development on the DLC, like anything under the sun potentially could be causing delays in this development. They could have ran into QA issues, etc. But there are some like big ticket items that we actually do know about and that are factual that would potentially cause a delay in development. And one would be the voice actors union strike. So this is an event that occurred. It just recently ended, and we've all noticed a lot of the voice actors for Starfield are kind of back to work again, and they're posting about it. Um, but something to think about is like these voice actors work on multiple games, sometimes TV shows as well, and they very well could have a backlog of voice acting work that they do need to do. Um, so, like, there could be a delay in getting this DLC voice acted, but that's basically like my 2 cents on it. Is we do have like red flag indicators that could be causing like delays in production. Um, the whole discussion about creations, because I'm sure that's being discussed. There's money involved. There's money to be made, and those things would be potentially negotiated for. And then also there's the question about content. Will proceeds from creations be enough to kind of
I know
allow
you need backup.
PlayStation to
I
loosen their
promise.
grip on creations? And then as far as like potential delays on the game development side, we haven't heard too much like production things yet that potentially could be causing a delay, other than the whole voice actors union strike that could be causing a delay. But usually that's done absolutely last within a game cycle, and that's probably why the hate here is saying slightly delayed, possibly not by 2025. So, like, there potentially could be a delay of like 3 to 4 months while whatever is going on resolves itself, and a DLC and a port happen at the same time. Because I think at the end of the day, that's what Bethesda's going for. Is they're going for, hey, we're going to be releasing our new DLC, and two, we're going to be releasing it with a PlayStation port. There probably is going to be a bundle deal for PlayStation users to like pick up the DLC and stuff. So this is basically my like commentary on this situation is kind of expect we'll get news at like Gamescom, probably a trailer or something, and then there'll probably also be an updated release date that might spell out early 2026 or late 2025 as like a potential release date. But as always, please enjoy your night, guys.